Morning everyone. I hope you're all doing really good wherever you are and having a lovely final couple of weeks of summer as the nights start drawing in and we start getting closer to the autumn and the autumn equinox. Anyway, I just wanted to jump on for a minute just to talk about, or just to share a little communication I had with a client a couple of days ago. And she was asking me, like, why she's been going through a really difficult time this year, as so many of us have. Just the shifts just keep on giving and the shifts just keep on coming, and the transformations and the waves and the incoming light codes and frequencies and radio waves and solar waves, and it's just intense, isn't it? And I wrote an article a few days ago about how all these, these light waves and the solar waves, solar rays they are upgrading and transforming and activating our DNA template. But this particular client was asking me, why she's having such intensities when already last year was already intense, and I said to her that, we're all feeling it on so many levels, particularly, the people who are on the path of healing, self-healing, and they're on the path of seeking truths and seeking greater levels of awakening within their own processes and collective processes and planetary and galactic and whatever, cosmic, wherever you are cosmically. And so, we're all kind of feeling it on so many levels. And, the relevance for me was all about the activations of our dormant key codes and chelons within the energy body systems, within the light body structure, and how all of these have been activated because of these higher intensity light that is coming in and shifting on many different levels, planetary and individually. And obviously it's affecting the Earth's magnetic shield, which ultimately affects our magnetic shield, which ultimately influences all our energy body systems, our biological body, because we're receiving all this energy through the glands, which are related to the energy centers, and the vortices of energy that are stationed at each of the glands, our embodied energy centers that people refer to as chakras. And how we're receiving all of this information and this intelligence of, and that's why so many people are experiencing unprecedented levels of awakening, because these higher cosmic intelligences has been received into and out of the body. So it's whether you are consciously on the path or not, everybody's experiencing it, and it is why so many are awakening and the masses are awakening. And we all know this, this is not the point of my video. So the point of my video was the observation I had when I was speaking with my client was, working, when we can work with the vibration of numerology, and a lot of people are really familiar with astrology, and some people work deeply with numerology. And wherever you are and whatever you're doing on the path, whether you're familiar with astrology or numerology, I resonate more with numerology because I like to work with the vibration of the math, because math is literally what our world is, the geometry and the math and the algorithms of geometry and math very much influences, where we are and what's happening, and, the metaphysics, quantum physics, and so for me the numerology is quite valuable as I see it. But I don't buy in too much to numerology, and I don't buy in too much to astrology, because a lot of what we see based on the vibration of each of the number sequences and individual numbers is and can predetermine our life path. It can predetermine our universal path, you know, what's happening within each universal year and what's happening within each of our personal years. And I use it as a tool as I do astrology, you know, listening to the predictions of astrologists and listening to predictions of ancient astrologers and what they predicted over millennia, what's been written in the Bible and things like this. And we can use these as tools to help us to have a greater understanding of what's at play on a bigger scale. However, they can also influence and we can create our reality based on these predetermined structures such as astrology and numerology. So for me, the message I guess I'm trying to share is to use it as a tool of greater awareness rather than allowing it, you know, rather than literally embodying the predictions of what is happening, and thus your reality is shaped by the predictions. And I'm talking about, you know, what people are reporting on a daily basis and about numerology, you know. So for example, I use numerology as a tool every December. I reflect on my year, the year that I've just had. So in December this year, I will reflect on this year, like what has happened based on the vibration of my life path, which this year is my personal year path, which is based on the year 5. I'm in the personal year 5 within the 9 numerological mathematical cycles, and this is all about uncertainty and stability. And it certainly has been. I don't buy into or allow these predictions to predetermine my life and what happens. However, it certainly has been a year of instability and change on many levels. Previous to me reading about my personal year, I'd already planned to travel this year, where I'm actually traveling right now. I left my home in Copenhagen 3 weeks ago, and I'm kind of midway through my 2-month travel in Europe and back to the UK visiting. And kind of on a scouting mission to see whether I want to relocate myself next year back to Europe. So this is why I'm here. So it absolutely has been a year of instability. It's all, you know, 5 is all about travel and all about instability, uncertainty, change, and it certainly has been. And when I read the prediction of the 5-year last year, and I'd already booked this trip, I thought, well, yeah, that's going to be interesting, and it certainly has been. But in December, I will reflect on what has happened through this year, on exactly the changes I've had and what has occurred and what I've achieved or what I've not achieved, the goals that I set. Have I achieved these goals? Have I not achieved these goals? What happened? Why? And then, of course, planning looking into a glimpse into what's coming. And so we're allowing the vibration, allowing myself to use it as a tool to assist me rather than predetermine, rather than it becoming my reality, because ultimately we are all creators, and we don't need to allow our astrological traits and signs, you know, the moon in Saturn and the sun in Scorpio and the transit in this, that and the other, the Mercury retrogrades, etc., etc. We don't need to allow these to take over our lives and influence us. Yes, they do, and it's good to have the knowledge of what's happening. However, we are creators, and we can create our life. Our lives do not have to be predetermined by what's written in the stars and what's written in the vibration of the number sequences and etc., etc. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So using them as a tool, but again, just wrapping up the point of this. So we're in a universal year 8 at the minute, which is all about alchemy and change and strength and courage and success. And so this was always the year, you know, when we can anchor and work with the vibration of the universal years, again, as I do at the beginning of every year, not only my personal year, what's happening for me personally, but what's happening on a collective scale, and working with the energy. And it certainly has been a massive collective alchemy, a massive personal alchemy, because ultimately we are influenced by the universal energies as well, the universal vibration, and of course we don't need to allow ourselves for everything to be determined by you know the influence of these vibrations, but we can allow them to work as a tool. So for me, myself personally, at the beginning of the year, you know, setting these intentions to allow this beautiful spiritual alchemy to unfold with ease and grace, with gentleness, for my highest good, for my highest path, for my highest purpose, and working with the vibration of success, and working with the vibration of courage, you know, so that I could anchor this strength and courage, you know, working with the energy of strength, which is the vibration of 8, and actually, you know, bringing that influence into my personal year of change and instability and uncertainty, which it really has been. And not allowing that instability and change, you know, rather working with the positive aspect of instability and change and uncertainty, which, you know, many people potentially could take that as a, you know, and look at it, and it could be a negative, you know, people like worrying about what's going to happen, you know, this year is going to be unstable, it's going to be uncertain, and worrying about it. But rather working with the universal aspect and taking it as a positive, and looking forward to, you know, bring on the change, bring on the uncertainty, bring on the instability, and allowing everything to be for my highest path and purpose, and trusting the bigger picture. And so, you know, as we're kind of into the last quarter of the year 8, or this spiritual alchemy, which we can all, I think, can all agree that it's been a huge year for even deeper levels of transformation. We're seeing it on a collective scale, on a planetary scale, on a personal scale. But it's worth noting that we're also coming into the final year cycle next year of the year 9, which the vibration of 9 is, in numerology, is all about the completion of a cycle, completion of karmic cycles. And I really feel when we look at the bigger picture of what's happening collectively and personally, I think we can see, for me, I can see that we are absolutely, it's like everything is coming to a head for a completion of, like, it feels like we're wrapping up karmic cycles, you know, generationally, on an ancestral level, on a personal level, on a collective level. As we come into the year 2025, and when you look at what the predictions of astrology say, you know, that we're going to have, you know, this intensity is going to continue until 2025, 2026. So it kind of makes sense. So as we come into the last quarter of the 8 year, that we can work on manifesting our success, as I did at the beginning of every year. I always do a webinar to help each individual to work with the frequency of the universal year, and helping them to understand where they are on a personal, you know, what their personal year is, the numerical codings of their personal year, and working with this energy, working with the codes within their personal year, and working with the energetic vibrational codes of the universal year. So we did, you know, we were anchoring in success, anchoring in strength, anchoring power, anchoring courage, so that we could get through what we needed to get through, to release everything that was no longer in alignment with our highest path, everything that was no longer in alignment with our soul path, our purpose, our work as healing facilitators, or light workers, or grid workers, or whatever kind of level of healing that you're doing, whether you're a truther, a visionary, you know, we all have these beautiful creative abilities. So, you know, working with this year to anchor these codes, so that we can build quantum, and and creating the path to, as we come into the vibration of the 9-year and this completion of karmic cycles, so we can actually let go of, on a huge scale, this coming year, that we're letting go of all that's no longer serving us, so that when we come into, the vibration of 2026, that we're coming into that rebirth, the new beginnings. So, everything that's happening now is, we are literally shaping our path and cultivating our path for anchoring in this rebirth and new beginnings that we are going to feel in 2026. And again, but at the same time, not allowing it to predetermine. So don't take everything that you read as gospel, that, it doesn't have to be this way. We can use the vibration of these energies on a cosmic level to work for us, but rather than allowing these vibration to predetermine, to create our reality, because ultimately we are our own creators. The number frequencies are not creating, they're influencing, and we can use the positive of these vibrations, rather than, again, coming back to the year 5, which is, this instability and uncertainty of my personal year, not taking that as a negative, which many people could, as I could, think, okay, what's this going to bring? And then already I'm sending out that vibration that, like, this nervous anticipation and worry about what's going to happen, but rather like, okay, things are going to change, it's going to be, there's going to be some instability, let's see how it goes, bring on the changes, and just, communicating with the cosmos, the higher ups, allowing everything to be for my highest path and purpose. What's meant to fall away falls away. And so for me, what I did experience the first 6 months of this year was absolutely huge instability, that I was under threat of losing my home. And it was really, really sent me into a real anxiety, because I have 6 cats, and, and I was looking for another home in anticipation of being displaced because of what's happening on my little island and things. And I think this is happening for a lot of people. But also trusting at the same time, okay, if it's meant to happen, then it's meant to happen. I will be supported. I am in service to humanity. I'm in service to the planet. I'm in service to the cosmos, and I will always be supported because I'm in service, and trusting that, that I am divinely supported, divinely protected, and I'm safe. And so I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonates with you, and I'm kind of getting the point across. So yeah, just working with the energies of this universal year, this year of alchemy, this year of success, this year of strength, courage and power, and anchoring the energy of this strength, courage and power, because we will need it next year as we enter this completion. Because if we think this year was intense, then as we start to release all the karmas and our karmic stories come to an end, then of course there's going to be some energetic fallout. But again, it's just trusting that everything is for, our highest path and purpose, and not just our highest path, but the collective path, and our ancestors, and all the generations that came before us. Again, not just our bloodline ancestors, but collectively, I really feel we are coming to this crux of, what happened, the Atlantean wars, and what's happened on Earth, going back to the 1940s with the Holocaust. And I really feel that we're really feeling this, because we've kind of been seeing it playing out through this, through this event that we've been going through in early 2020, 21, 2022, and this is still being talked about, what's happening in the next event, not mentioning any specific things, but the events of collective events that are being negated and pushed by, or should I say pushed by, the negative agendas and how they want to control us. And this is absolutely, it is like the final kind of push as we come into these completions of karmic cycles, and the healing that we're doing and the healing that's taking place collectively from just regular people who are not on a path, who are literally awakening to all of this, and they're really feeling the energy of their ancestors and what's happening. So yeah, I really feel this is a huge shift that we're all going through. And as I said, we're definitely going to go into this next year as we come to completion. So we're really feeling the healing on a massive level of planetary realignment, collective soul body realignment. Because I feel, and I wrote a little bit about this morning, that I do feel that our collective soul body is out of integrity at the minute. And so there needs to be a shift, because we have to come back into soul integrity, spiritual integrity on a collective level, because we've just lost it somewhere along the way. So yeah, that is my message for the day. Having that awareness of where we are and what's coming next year, and the impending completion of these karmic cycles on a collective level and an individual level, and working with the energy of this as we literally come into the last quarter of this year. So really stepping into your courage, stepping into your power, finding your inner strength, and just setting your intentions for you to release all the negative karmas and all the toxicity within karmic contracts that we have previously made individually and on a societal and collective level. Whatever we have manifested unconsciously as a result of the manipulations from the shadow forces, because they know how to play the game. They know how to facilitate collective manifestation by driving the agendas that they're driving, and ultimately we are manifesting it. And so we can actually use that as a tool when we work with the vibration of specific numerological universal years, that we can actually use it for greater good, and just have the awareness that celestial events like equinoxes and solstices I can't even speak, solstices and equinoxes, put my teeth back in, that actually, as we are using them for the greater good and to anchor, a lot of us who are doing grid work, and we're using these to anchor in higher light codes and the rays and scalar patterns, that we're anchoring these energies into the grids, and anchoring these energies into our own templates, that the frequency fences, the controllers, the shadow forces out there are also using them to instigate their agendas as well. And of course, these shadow forces know all the grid points, Stonehenge and Avebury and all these other, these ley lines and these beautiful temples where people gather, specific spots where people gather. And so they use them to, to harvest and harness energy. So it's, being aware of this, and, when you're going to these huge events, just shielding, make sure that you're shielded up. Set your intentions to not allow anything negative to enter your fields, blocking everything from entering your fields, and shielding up. Just keep doing your shielding, because they absolutely use, it's this, I'm not just talking about the controllers on the ground, but we've got, the controllers, the unseen forces, and all the occult that we can't see. So absolutely using these powerful gatherings as tools for greater awareness, working with the energies as an influence rather than allowing it to predetermine what's happening and what's coming in your life and within the collective, and manifesting the changes that we want to see. As Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change that you want to see in the world. So we have to anchor this change. If we want to see changes in the world and to see growth and beauty, and then we have to anchor this within us as well. If we want to see peace in the world, we have to anchor this peace within us, and so we can work with our own personal coding to facilitate this, but create it at the same time, rather than allowing the energies of astrology and the predictions to predetermine what's happening, because it doesn't have to be this way. Sure, there's things that we can't control, but there's a lot that we can control. We are manifestors, we are creators. So anyway, I will leave it there. I hope this helps you in some way, and drop me a comment and let me know if it resonates, and if you've got anything to add. If there's anything that I've missed, then drop that in the comments below. And yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. And for anybody who is called to work with me, I've got my next Akashic record and quantum recoding facilitator training coming up on the 19th and 20th of October. It's a 16-week online program. And so that starts on the 19th and 20th of October. So if that resonates with you, get in touch. I'll pop my website link below as well. You can have a look. And if you're called to work with me on a personal level, then I do Akashic readings. So obviously looking into your past and present life experiences, what's potentially holding you back, what's potentially causing you pain, what's blocking your potential, what's blocking you from fulfilling your soul work, you know, what's causing you to get stuck in these negative cycles, and working through all of this, and healing it on a deeper level. So it's going in, you know, really going into the shadow body and reprogramming, repatterning the shadow body blocks, and also trauma release, and yeah, just a complete holistic, comprehensive repatterning and reprogramming. So let me know if that calls you. Again, I'll pop my website below, so have a look. I'm wishing you a beautiful day. I'm about to travel back to the UK tomorrow. I'm currently in Mallorca, so I'll be traveling back to the UK tomorrow, spending some time with my family before I go back to Koh Phangan. So hope to hear from some of you, hope to see some of you, and if not in person, then online. Yeah, just drop me a message, and if you want to chat, let's chat. Have a beautiful day. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye bye.